Hello, Professor Duke and my course mates in BIB 101, Interpreting and Understanding the Bible. So at this moment, I'm going to exegete a passage prone to misinterpretation. And one of that is Philippians chapter 4, verse 13, which it says, I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. So the meaning of Philippians chapter 4, verse 13 is the exact opposite of what many people are saying it means. So here's what this verse does not teach. You can overcome any problem. You will get that past due bill paid. You will get that job. And you will be healed of any health issue. So honestly, I hate that there are so many verses that people twist to sell t-shirts and gifts. Even in NBA, I saw this in the shoes of one of the Christian NBA players. Yes, God can do anything, but God has never promised us we can fix anything through Christ. God has never promised that all of our earthly problems would be solved or taken away. So if God did promise those things, well, everyone on the planet would be a Christian. Just seeing the benefit of us accomplishing anything we wanted would lead people to God for all the wrong reasons. So talk about making God a genie in a bottle. So here's what really going on in Philippians 4:13 and what Paul is really telling us. So contrary to what people teach, Paul is teaching the exact opposite. Paul is actually saying that even if he is suffering or in need, that his joy does not come from solving those problems. He's saying his joy comes from knowing Christ. Even during bad times, Jesus strengthens us as he counsels us, guides us, and encourages us. So in other words, even if you lose your job or cannot pay a bill, your source of joy should not be from fixing those problems. So Paul wanted us to realize that planet Earth hurls all kinds of problems our way. And if our joy is found in earthly things, well, we're going to be in for an emotional roller coaster. However, if our joy is found in Christ, well, even when life hits rock bottom, we can still find joy. That's the meaning of I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. Now let's look at the verse in the full context as what the BIB 101 course is really discussing, that we need to read and interpret the Bible in a full context. So let's go back on verse 10 in the same chapter. It says, But I rejoice in the Lord greatly that now at last you have revived your concern for me. Indeed, you were concerned before, but you lacked opportunity. So, the recipient of this letter, as I observed, had been concerned for Paul. As the following verse says in verse 11, Not that I speak from want, for I have learned to be content in whatever circumstances I am. So Paul just told us he is content, good or bad, no matter what circumstances he is in. And in the following verse, in verse 12, before the verse 13, it says, I know how to get along with humble means, and I also know how to live in prosperity. In any and every circumstance, I have learned that secret of being filled and going hungry, but of having abundance and suffering need. That is found in verse 12. So Paul made zero mention of having problems solved. He did not only describe good times, but also being content when he had to live with humble means. So a nice word for being broke. He said he was content while going hungry or even suffering need. Having said all that, now Paul makes his point of how he is happy in all circumstances. And then we are now in verse 13. It says, I can do all things through him who strengthens me. So in the application, friends, while we all want our problem solved, the lesson here is not about having our circumstances fixed. It's about learning to lean on Jesus and depend on Him. Even if the circumstances don't get better, it's about letting Jesus be the source of our joy. Just knowing that Jesus is always with and in us, and that He swears to never leave us or forsake us, should produce all kinds of joy, even if the desires of the flesh are not being met. God bless you all.